Happy Friday, everybody. We made it to the end of the week. I hope you had a great week of learning activities at home. I have a book for you today that is one of my favorites to teach some very important skills. And it's really interesting because it has multiple narrators throughout it. So there's different characters that tell the same story. So this is called Voices in the Park, and it's by Anthony Brown. And so a couple things I want you to think of as I read this is there are 4 characters that are going to tell you the story one at a time. And they're actually all experiencing the same day. And I want you to think of maybe some character traits or some descriptive words or adjectives that describe each character as I read. So this is Voices in the Park. First voice. It was time to take Victoria, our pedigree Labrador, and Charles, our son, for a walk. When we arrived at the park, I let Victoria off her leash. Immediately, some scruffy mongrel appeared and started bothering her. I shooed it off, but the horrible thing chased her all over the park. I ordered it to go away, but it took no notice of me whatsoever. Sit, I said to Charles. Here. So who's telling the story? I was just planning what we should have to eat that evening when I saw Charles had disappeared. Oh dear, where had he gone? You get some frightful types in the park these days. I called his name for what seemed like ages. Then I saw him talking to a very rough-looking child. Charles, come here at once, I said. And come here, please, Victoria. We walked home in silence. Second voice. I needed to get out of the house, so me and Smudge took the dog to the park. He loves it there. I wish I had half the energy he's got. I settled on a bench and looked through the paper for a job. I know it's a waste of time, but you gotta have some hope, haven't you? Then it was time to go. Smudge cheered me up. She chattered happily to me all the way home. Third voice. I was at home on my own again. It's so boring. Then my mother said it was time for our walk. There was a very friendly dog in the park, and Victoria was having a great time. I wished I was. Wait, can you maybe tell who this is? Do you want to come on the slide? A voice asked. It was a girl, unfortunately, but I went anyway. She was great on the slide. She went really fast. I was amazed. The 2 dogs raced around like old friends. The girl took off her coat and swung on the climbing bars, so I did the same. I'm good at climbing trees, so I showed her how to do it. She told me her name was Smudge. A funny name, I know, but she's nice. Then my mother caught us talking together, and I had to go home. Maybe Smudge will be there next time? Fourth voice. Dad had been really fed up, so I was happy when he said we could take Albert to the park. Albert's always in such a hurry to be let off his leash. He went straight up to this nice dog and sniffed its backside, He always does that. Of course, the other dog didn't mind, but its owner was really angry, the silly twit. Here, are you seeing how all of these characters are tied together? I got talking to this boy. I thought he was kind of a wimp at first, but he's okay. We played on the seesaw and he didn't say much, but later on, he was more friendly. We both burst out laughing when we saw Albert taking a swim. Then we all played on the bandstand, and I felt really, really happy. Charlie picked a flower and gave it to me. Then his mom called him and said he had to go. He looked sad. When I got home, I put the flower in some water and made Dad a nice cup of cocoa. So that was a very short and simple book, but I love, love, love how this book teaches that we can all experience the same thing, but have totally different experiences. So I want you to think of some describing words that maybe describe each of the 4 characters, and maybe talk it through if you're watching this video with someone. How are the characters tied together? So remember, there are 4 characters that tell the story. So I want you to think of character traits, and my older students, I want you to maybe think about how important it is to have voice when you're writing, and how a certain voice or a certain character telling the story creates a totally different point of view for the reader. Have a great day, and I'll see you next week.